just talking about the idea of why selling retail is important as it relates to revenue generation. And so the question I want you to think about is your business set up to be a for-profit or a not-for-profit enterprise? Seems like a pretty obvious answer to most of us. Businesses are meant to be for profit, right? And we as business owners open a business hoping to not only make a nice salary or maybe just a basic salary, but also to build up something of value and maybe to get a little bonus every now and then when things are going really well as to have money set aside for when business isn't going so well. But there are some people that don't realize selling retail is a really vital part of that for-profit business. What do you think about that, Phil?
Well, I think that also applies in a not-for-profit business. So, for example, I have a very good friend that is the general manager of a hospital here in our beautiful town of Osceola, Wisconsin. And they are a non-profit business. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not supposed to generate a revenue in excess of their costs on every good and service that they produce. It means they have to do that. And so one day I was working at a trade show, and I'll never forget this. It was many, many years ago. It was a PT show. And I offered to this young lady, I said, you know, here's a back belt, and in this case, here's the features and benefits of the belt and why it's the best available on the product, on the market. And I said, and your cost is this, and you sell it for that. And she was very indignant. She looked at me and she said, why would I rip off my customers like that? And because I had suggested that she could make a margin on the product. And I thought that was just incredible. And I was confident this young lady worked in a not-for-profit business or a non-profit business. A non-profit business is a tax status. It means that you use a different tax form to fill out your taxes than what you do if you're a for-profit business. But in either case, if you sell this for something less than you bought it for, then you're not going to be able to pay your overhead. You're not going to pay the staff. You're not going to pay your lights. You're not going to pay whatever. Because you sold it for less than you bought it for. You have to sell your services for more than you buy them for. I mean, everybody that's going to be watching this earns a wage. How many of you does your company or your boss or yourself, do you actually sell your service for the same price as your wage? That would be ridiculous. So if someone's earning $15 an hour, do you sell their service for $15 an hour? Right. Absolutely not, because then you couldn't pay the rent, you couldn't pay the lights, you couldn't pay the heat, you couldn't you couldn't pay for your advertising. Even if you're a non-for-profit business, I have a friend that marketing manager at a nursing home. Well, they have to advertise. It's a non-profit business. They still have to produce revenue in excess of their costs in order to cover those things. Now, when they get to the end of the year, what they do with the excess revenue that they've created over and above their cost is different from a tax point of view.
Right.
But they absolutely have to keep that. And so I think it's imperative in every business to produce a profit.
Well, you know, the interesting thing that I hear sometimes from practitioners in the healthcare world is that maybe they don't think making a profit is a bad thing, but they think that selling products is actually unethical. I get this argument a lot from all different disciplines. It's not any one in particular. And to me, as far as I'm concerned with selling retail, the only unethical way to sell products is either to sell products that absolutely do not meet the needs or provide the solutions your patients or clients or customers, as we've been discussing, are looking for. If you're selling something that is really shoddy, bad quality, defective, etc., that's going to do a bad job or perhaps injure the client or patient or customer, and if you are selling something that's out of your scope of practice, that you are not qualified to recommend. You know, for example, a lot of times I'll see in the massage therapy industry, people will want to sell vitamins, some type of supplement, and that kind of thing. Well, I'm not a nutritionist. I don't really have any sort of background on that. And so in my opinion, for me personally, to sell vitamins to my patients or clients is absolutely unethical. But for me to recommend a home care treatment like the Omni Roller, it's absolutely ethical because I'm providing them with a solution that they can go home, use on themselves or on their spouse or friend or whoever to feel better. And it's something that they can do in between visits. it's something that is of high quality, and they're going to get the results that they want. So to me, there's nothing unethical about not only selling this, but then selling it at such a price that it enables my business to prosper and to continue to serve my customers.
You know, one of the biggest problems that healthcare providers, chiropractors, physical therapists, and massage therapists deal with is a customer that comes in with a brand new fresh injury and they've been putting heat on it all night in anticipation of coming to see that healthcare provider the next day. And they walk in and they say, boy, I hurt my low back, you know, when I was doing this and that, and I had heat on it all night, and oh my gosh, I can barely walk. Well, you know, one of the things that we offer is a lovely selection of hot and cold packs. And right behind Felicia, you see a little display, and up above her, you might see, I don't know if it's in the camera or not, but you might see a poster that says, how do I know when to properly use hot and cold? And this is a great example, because when you take a hot and cold pack, and if somebody uses the wrong form of that pack, if they use it hot on a brand new injury, an acute injury, they are going to get exactly the wrong result. On the other hand, if they use it cold, they'll get the right result. Now, is it unethical for the healthcare provider when you walk in and you need cold on that immediately? Is it unethical for them to pull a cold pack out of the freezer, put the cold on there, make sure that you walk out with the cold on it, and that you're getting the most that you can get out of that product? First off, that professional would have had the opportunity to provide one that's of professional quality. They would have provided that product exactly at the moment that you needed it. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, if I need cold, and they say you need to go to Walmart and get a cold pack, and I go to Walmart and I get a cold pack, and I gotta go home, I gotta throw it in the freezer, it's gonna be several hours before I can use that cold pack when I need it right now. Now, if you're a savvy professional and you're thinking about your business, you might take advantage of a service that Core Products provides and have your name and address silk screened on that cold pack. Now, next time, first off, you come in with a problem. I help you understand when to use hot, when to use cold. I provide you a brochure that's included in the display that talks about the RICE method, okay, and when to properly use that hot and cold. Now you take it home, you get done with it on this injury, you put it in the freezer. One of your kids gets hurt, you pull that hot and cold pack out of the freezer next time and you apply it to that injury, and there's the professional's name on there. It's absolutely right that you sold them the product. It's absolutely right that you made a profit on it, and it's absolutely right that you co-branded it with your own brand so that they know how to refer back to you. So the right product at the right time to meet the need and provide the proper solution is absolutely the right thing to do.
And good for your business too.